What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Black Mental Health Podcast. I'm your host, Reg. Joined today with me is a special guest. I don't know if a lot of you remember, but I told you that I went through a program last year sponsored by Drexel University. Um, and the program it pulled young men from the communities, and they wanted black young men to use their lived experience and get them trained as community health workers and certified peer specialists. And you heard a bit of my journey and what I had to go through, and I'll go into it a little bit more deeper probably in another episode. But I got one of my classmates from the actual program here, and I wanted to give his perspective. I'm gonna try to get at least two or three more. Everybody busy again,
Oh yeah,
everybody
man.
back in their flow. But go ahead and introduce yourself, brother, and I'll we'll take it from there.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Yes, my name is Omar Hendricks. As Reggie said, I did a program with him. July last year to October. Yeah, it was a great experience. I learned a lot. Definitely met a lot of good people. And it sucked because it was still on Zoom, but we did like towards the end get a chance to meet each other in person. So, but yeah, it was still it was a great program, man, and yeah, it was just a nice journey.
So I
Nice
I, tr-
journey.
I try to make sure I remember. I don't do it often, but I make
Yeah.
sure to remember to check in like we did in the program. So
Yeah, yeah.
how you
My
doing,
man.
brother? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. Like good's not feeling. I'm excited, to do this. A little nervous and excited. So, kind of both. But, I think I'm just gonna go with the flow. See, because I don't really do interviews too much. But this, hey, my man asked me to do it, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it for him. So yeah, it's pretty good. I forgot how we used to do intro. I forgot.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
man.
fine.
I wish I. Oh
That's
man.
the what it was it perform
Yeah.
pro now. I forgot everything,
For
but
no,
it's
yeah,
crazy because I
yeah.
do it at work too. And once I'm out
Oh
of work, I
wow.
don't even like think about it. But that's another story. So
Yeah.
how did you get introduced to the program? What made you join? Because I seen it on like Instagram, and
Oh.
I was scrolling, and then it was like, all right, let me try it out. And plus I was always looking up the certified peer specialist position, like, or that credential. So when the opportunity presented itself, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get it. So how did you find out about it? What was your experience like even getting into it?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I actually found out about the program. I think it was through an email. My mom told me it's either one of those. So once I saw, it, I was like, okay, community health worker. I'm like, all right, this sounds cool because I've done a lot of job and careers training programs in the past. So I just wanted to add this on, to my, to resume. And once I found out about it, once I still remember the interview. With Tony and Casey. It was good. I came there. It was like that February of last year, 2020. Yeah, they came in, sat me down, told me a little bit about the program. They actually showed me the video of the other, like what it was about, and other graduates and their you know their process, what they went through, and and their background, what they like been through. And so after seeing that video, after I left the interview, I was like, wow, that was kind of heavy. So yeah, so that's how I basically heard about the program.
Nah, and I did my interview. I want to say I did it late because you said February and COVID happened
Yeah,
in March. So
yeah.
you were like early on, like you were one of the
Yeah, I
early
was.
picks.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I remember coming in there for that February. I think. Yeah, I
hmm
remember that. Yeah, I was.
So nah, that's what's up, and it's crazy because I still use or rely on Casey and Tone still is. I just talked to Casey last week, getting
Okay.
I had to ask him for some information. I'm like, let me hit T
Mm.
Casey up to see if he knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Same thing with Tone. But so when you seen the video, you said that it sparked some emotion. What was it in the video that like actually grabbed your attention? Because it's people or brothers. I don't want to say people, brothers sharing their story, sharing their
Hmm.
trauma, sharing the things that they've been through, and they going in detail. What was this? What was it in the video that connected with you and your story?
Yeah, it was a brother that I forgot his name. I don't know what happened. I mean, well, I don't know what happened in the video, of course, the story, but yeah, it was just like trauma based. It was like because he got shot. He told me he in the video he explained how he got shot and how he like doesn't even like go outside as much anymore. Or, like how he like like one of the third or second times he got shot, he turned himself. He like moved himself so he was going to get hit in the heart. It was something like that. I was like, man, that's heavy. So then he explained his journey, how he got in the program with Casey and Tony and the people he met. So I was like, wow, man, this is heavy stuff right here. I mean, he like, you know, yeah. And I was just talking about that the other day with my brother, like, because somebody that at my current job got it was like a while back. He told me how he got shot 7 times and like how he was mistaken for the wrong person. He was with his family, and we just saying like it's the mental trauma from that is worse than the physical trauma. Thank God he's still alive, but it's just crazy, experiences. So yeah, that really stuck out to me. So yeah.
Yeah, we was talking about it in the group, and I actually did some writing about it. But again, I like it that it's another brother that's from the pack, because I can
Yeah.
talk about it, but hearing it from your perspective is even like it deepens what
Hmm.
people, because they don't know what we were the only 10 in that group, so we know what was
Right.
shared. And I'll save that for a little bit later. But
Hmm.
so when you talk about it for yourself, like, what was your trauma like that connected it for you? Like what was your past experience?
Probably like shoot, I've been jumped before, like robbed
Mhm,
a couple times, so it's like that's trying that kind of trauma. Still, kind of to this day, I always kind of like look out the window and
mhm,
stuff like that. I remember when I first got robbed years ago when I was living in West Philly on Vine Street. Um, After it happened, like I would just like while I hear the doorbell ring, wrong, I'll just run upstairs and yeah, it was just kind of like even still to this day, kind of still like gets me like when people ring doorbell, be like whoa whoa whoa, that look out because I'll be sit down watch TV, but still looking out the window. It's just a habit now, and I remember that night actually, um, I got that I was robbed the first time. I just slept on the steps on the top of the steps, so yeah, I remember walking in, all the stuff was knocked down, and it's yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, that
See,
kind of
these are
yeah,
stories that we didn't get to share, and that's
yeah.
why
I
I'm
know, yeah, I
happy
know.
to
Wow,
have you to have these conversations,
yeah, right.
because
Thank you.
um that's the trauma based in the stuff that we was learning. Because
Right.
I just did an episode on the podcast, and we was talking about how, like, growing up in Philly and growing up in the hood and growing up in poverty, you
Mm.
get to learn certain things, like like somebody hear your story and that's not from our community, and they be like, wait, what, you had to go through all that? To us,
Yeah.
that's another day in the hood.
They,
Like,
yeah, right. That's like, all right, yeah, shit. Well, shit.
that's
Yeah, join
another
the
day.
club. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
so it's almost like you develop certain skills to, like you said, I look over, you hear a noise, and it's like you know what I mean? You
Yeah, I
develop
know
these
exactly what you
instincts.
mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's like survival. It's like norm to us. Like a lot of people in
Mhm,
in our communities have like PTSD from different things. They not them people don't call it that, but it kind of is from all these like kind of wars that's going on like in our
mhm.
community. So in this it's crazy, like yeah, like somebody from out of town or somewhere else, or that grew up somewhere else and feel like when we tell them this, it's like, yeah, wow, you really had to go through that, like yeah, it's like crazy because sorry to cut you off, but I was like, we just talked to each other, we are like, yo, like that's not normal though. It's normal for us, but it's like when you really think about it, it's like, man, this ain't normal, man. Well, like what's going on, man? It's crazy. So yeah,
Now, and I was going to add to it that they don't realize you don't even got to be a street guy to have to deal with street shit. Like, you know what I mean?
exactly. I was yeah, man. We talk about this, my bro. Yes, exactly,
Like,
exactly.
you don't even have to be in drugs, in guns, and still have to navigate through that trench where you, like, you
Hmm.
got to have some type of street knowledge in
Hmm.
order to survive.
Right. But I talk about this with my brother a lot too. It's like, no, I'm glad I did grow up in Philly because you get a sense of street smart. So whenever you go out somewhere, like okay, I'm Philly, so I know what the type time this is, and we such a like real people. We'll tell you how it is though. So it's like we don't hold back. Like even when our with our like what we go through, it's like it's like it's crazy. But you know what? Just add to your point, like yeah, like it like most of the times murders that happen, it's people that's innocent bystanders had nothing to do with it. So it's like it's been going on for years and years. It's like you really don't. You could just be like always minding your business. That's all I was. The real street dudes always told me like because they knew who I was and like my brother. They knew like us. Like y'all not like that. So they were actually. These are real guys, but they'll tell you no, don't go to do this because it's not you. And they like told you, they told me to keep away from that stuff. So yeah, that's all I always appreciate being grown up here because it like kind of prepares you for the real world. So
No, that's a fact, and you could just find by accident find yourself in some stuff by accident, and you wasn't even trying to do it. So
yeah,
and I don't think people recognize that. Like even half of the street dudes that are street dudes, they technically don't want to be doing
exactly. They
it,
don't at all. They don't. They
but they
don't.
gotta kind of do it to survive. And it's like uh they don't realize that it's another way, almost like how
Yeah,
we got in the program and getting
yeah.
involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
use this and do it another way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I don't know if you remember that first day when we were doing our introductions and how, and I don't want to say nobody's name just in
Yeah,
case he may come on, but a brother shared like
yeah.
his
Yeah.
story,
Mm-hmm.
and out off the rip out the gate he was like, yo, I just I'm dealing with something traumatic right now, like my cut. I forgot the story. Do you remember it all the way?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think a cousin his got murdered. So
Mm-hmm.
or somebody close to him got murdered. Yeah, I remember
and,
that. Yeah, first
and
day.
and we had to do it in that moment of like that it instantly brought us together because
Yeah,
we
it's
all
just
knew
that.
that pain.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. I'm glad you brought it because yeah, that's what broke the ice. That's what kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's what broke it. That's what like brought us together and broke the ice. It's like wow. Then we was like from there on, it's like we got like closer.
Mm-hmm.
That was that yeah that man that was.
And he was like so open, like
Mm-hmm.
off the rip. He like, yo, I'm not even focusing right now, like
Yeah.
because I'm dealing with
Mm-hmm.
this at home.
Yeah.
And
That's
so it allowed everybody else to feel like okay to start sharing and being more. Because mind you, we met each other on Zoom.
yeah. We did. Yeah. And you still had that connection. That's what's crazy. It's like yeah. Exactly, man. Man, it
So
been. Go ahead.
no, I was going to ask. So, what was that like? Just off the rip, or even just starting out, like explaining your emotions, like to dudes. Like we not just walking up on the street and randomly talking to people, but we got about 10 random guys, and then we just in this room, explaining emotions to each other. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, it was like it was kind of a little different because it's like people I really don't like, but we all come from the same background, but it was kind of like, oh, all right, well, people I really don't know, but it's like, because I'm kind of nervous and shy by nature, so
Mm-hmm.
but once that like we once you mentioned like once he broke that ice, it's like okay, then talking to like other people, I don't want to say names, that's crazy, but talking to other people like and brothers in our in our program, like having the same similar situations, backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
upcomings. It's like, man, that's shoot. It's like, all right, we all come from like the same place, so it's like it kind of made you even open up even more. So and even some, I told Mitch like some people that did the program with us, hey, that was kind of worse than what I went through. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had it. I thought what I went through was bad. No, that's kind of worse. So it's yeah, man, that's what kind of made it like so
The crazy
relatable.
part, it's not worse or you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
right,
different
right,
type
right.
of
It's
traumas.
different tribes. Yeah, right,
That's
exactly. Yeah, it's
it's
not.
never
Yeah,
because when I
yeah.
heard one of our brothers like he was like, yo, I just got shot earlier this year. Like they told me about this in the hospital
Yeah,
room, and
yeah.
he's talking about it. And I'm like, dang, he like, I'm fighting the case right now.
Yeah. Right. For him to do that though, that was big during the program. I was like,
Hmm.
man, that was crazy. Then he told me his story, so I was like, man, that's yeah, man.
Yeah, because y'all got to connect early. I didn't really get to
Yeah,
connect with him until later on, and then we came
yeah.
tight once we
Exactly.
connected. I
Right.
still got to get up with him. He said he
Yeah.
was going to do it too, so I got to
Okay.
still
Yeah, I
get
gotta
up with
watch
him.
that too. Yeah. Every time you got one of our alumni's on here, man. I got watch. I got
I
watch.
only got two people lined up right now. Well, not
Okay.
official. I want to say one person, and it was the one that couldn't really make. He was working his job, mind you. Again,
Uh,
we were all
oh
coming from
yeah.
different spaces, so one brother was still he couldn't make it. Like, luckily it was virtual because he wouldn't have been able to make it in person, but he did
Person,
all the
right?
zooms
Zoom.
while he
Yeah, I
was at
remember
work.
that. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
Right.
it was different people coming from all different walks of life,
Yeah.
and just trying to learn different things to help deal with the things that we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you brought up a lot, and I want to make sure to touch up on it, is
Mm-hmm.
the importance of or the relationship between you and your brother. What was his perspective on once you was joining the program, or how have y'all been? How did it like help with y'all relationship?
You know what? It's crazy because I remember he when we let's see what was he doing when I was doing the program. Like when he was kind of more out and about when I did the program, but you know
Mhm,
what? But I did tell him about it. A couple of times. He was like, because he would be leave out in the morning when I
mhm,
was doing it. But you know what? It's just crazy because some of the topics that we talked about,
mhm.
like in the program, we talk about that stuff all the time. Like so, that's what kind of was crazy. I wish he would have done it, but he has his career already in dance, so it's like, but he's been good for the program too. So yeah, that's kind of the topics that we talk about on a regular. Um, that's kind of what we talked about in the program too. So like growing up in Philly with situations that happen, trauma, and like just everyday like topics that we talk about, like stuff that you talk about, that we all talk about. So yeah.
Um, what was I gonna ask? There was a question I had about the relate. Oh, how did y'all start talking like that? Because I don't even have like I got family members and then I got close friends, but we don't just off the rip like start
Mm-hmm.
having those type of conversations. How did y'all develop that type of like bind where this is where? Because mind you, that's the safe space that every brother be like, yo, I ain't got nobody to talk to, or I ain't got no. So
Yeah.
y'all talking about that all the time. Like, how did y'all even get comfortable enough to get to that space?
Yeah, exactly. It's like because our experience, like what we went through, and we still kind of go through day to day in the city, like growing up here and living here. So it's like kind of like everyday conversation. Of course, we laugh and joke, but yeah, we talk about that stuff like a lot. It's like we read something on the news or see something that like read a couple headlines. It just have to be in Philly, but just all around, and we start talking about it sometimes. So um, yeah, so that's how it really happens. Like so really basically so that's like we it's kind of like everyday stuff that happens here, like we talk about it, like I think it's our past experiences that kind of led us to like lead us having these conversations, us learning from them, and trying to keep away from other things. And so but yeah,
Okay.
that's how kind of we kind of talk about
No, I got you. So we go through the couple weeks and
it. Yeah.
uh it was hard doing the program virtual. I
Yeah, it
know
was, man. I wish, oh man, just even that's one regret I had. It's like, yeah, but we did towards the end see each other in
see
person.
each other in person,
Yeah,
got a
that's what.
chance to like
Yeah.
move around and have
Mm-hmm.
conversations and shake hands.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the things that like stuck out with you the most when you were learning everything that you didn't know before entering the program?
Mm-hmm.
Cause I know for me, it was like again this, and I'm still learning it too. Cause like my job talk about it, like trauma informed care and how to help treat a person.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that helped me with this, like doing this podcast, was motivational interviewing. Like it was like, oh, I didn't know too much about that. And then I took that. The last thing was like the oh man, what is that called? The toolbox thing we learned in person, like your wellness work plan, or what was it? Oh man, why can't I? It was the wellness toolbox. They gonna be mad. I don't remember that, but
Yeah,
it was the
yeah.
wellness toolbox, and and
Uh-huh.
and, and actually having like a plan in place for when you get off course and things like that with you. So, what was one of the things that you took away when that like stuck? I was like, man, I didn't even know nothing about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good, good. Yeah, that's good answers too. Kind of similar to you, but like more of like different skills to handle different situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like not don't like try to. One thing that stuck out to me is like you just want to be like realistic, not want to be like like the like with the patient or with the client, like you want to be like their motivator. Like you used to, like you're the not you be in that support. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not because of you. I mean, you're helping them, but it's not because of you. It's like this support skills and different like trauma skills, different like things that Oh man, it was one thing that did stick out to me, but I'm forgetting it. I wish I
I know, and we got a chance to work together in the groups
yeah,
in
yeah.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about like how we they're the expert. Like you're not supposed to be the
Yeah.
expert. You're supposed to be
Yeah.
helping them,
Mm-hmm.
and supporting them with what they with they're the expert in their own experience. So you're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
support them with their recovery, and you don't what do you call it? That you're not a therapist. You're not
Yeah.
that type of
Mm-hmm.
person. You're more of a all right. This is what you said to me, and then let's develop a plan to help with what you said. And you it's the I'm helping you work the plan that you created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that pretty much that. And you know what? I just not that too. And it's like you learn stuff for yourself too. Like I remember one assignment they had us watching a couple videos for like anger management, how to control your emotions, stuff like that. It kind of you kind of learn stuff for yourself too. It's just not how to deal with different clients. It's kind of like everyday life stuff, how to like deal with certain things. So that's
Mm,
one thing that you know, that's really stuck out in all the sessions we did with Mr. Carl and oh man, Mr. Dwayne.
mm.
That's it's like I got binders full of stuff that we learned. I haven't looked at in a while. Oops, sorry, but yeah, but yeah, that stuff. What we learned there too in person too. If that was like just great. Like everything that we learned was just great. So and this is even stuff that I like knew about it. I still expand like got a chance to expand on like what I knew, like smart goals, because I already knew kind of what smart goals, but it's
Mm.
just to expand on that. It's never bad to expand on what you already know, because you might even learn something new. So
No, that's a fact.
right.
Listen, it was since the program I've learned smart ter goals, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was what was the other one? Oh man. It was
I think
another.
I know what you're talking about too. The yeah,
I'm gonna look it up while we
mm,
talking, but it
yeah,
was
yeah.
another one. It was like smart goals, smarter
Oof.
goals, and then smarted or something like that. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
go back and reevaluate it,
Mm-hmm.
your thing, your
Right.
goals and go back. But so we graduate the program. Like, how was it when you found out we were like, cause we was tight for like a good 6-8 weeks before, like,
Yeah,
so we was every day doing that. How
yeah.
what was the feeling like when you knew we were almost graduating the program and then we're leaving to like use the skill sets? Like, how was that? Was you nervous? Like, oh man, I got newfound responsibility, mandated reporter, all of these different things, because Dwayne was trying to like let us know, he was yelling.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what? That was it was kind of like nervous, then
Mm,
still sad. But Tony and Casey still. I haven't talked to. I called Tony a couple weeks ago. He didn't. In Casey, I haven't talked to them in a while. But they still helped me. It was still good. But it was kind of nervous and like kind of sad. Like that bond we built. Like
mm-hmm.
especially like the in person thing. It was kind of sad that was coming to an end too. Because like one, I finally got a chance to go outside, and it's like then to come and meet y'all in person, which was great. And so I was kind of sad. And one thing is like was fun was great too. How funny you guys were. Like y'all just made it fun to come. Like y'all just made it fun to come, man. It was that was kind of sad. But I'm still kind of nervous, but I was still kind of confident in the skills that I learned and the training that I got for if for their different things I want to pursue. So and having this like on your resume and having this not even resume, but having this experience, it's going to help you with other things. Like people say, "Oh, you did that? Oh, you did Drexel? Oh, I know them. I know Tony. I know Casey. I know this and I know
Mm-hmm.
that. I know Reggie. I know who this and this person." So it can open up avenues for you, and it's like wow, it's like yeah, and
I can literally vouch for that. It
yeah,
has like uh it has come up often. Someone just brought up Casey and Tone last week about like, oh yeah, um, yeah, I know them. Like, you went through that program, like Dr. Ken Hardy.
okay,
I'm reaching out to him soon because he has to like work with my job and everything like that. So,
mm-hmm.
um, and they was like I reached out to Casey and Tony. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, I
Mhm.
needed to get some contact information on
Mhm.
him because they was like, all right, you need to talk to Casey. He was like, yo,
Mhm.
he like presented to your group, like he
Mhm.
knows you, like so you just
Yeah.
have to reach out to
Yeah.
him. And I'm like, man, look how it
Yeah.
6 months later is still
Mhm.
playing a part in the position and work with that I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right,
So,
man. Definitely.
so you leave the program, you graduate. What's the next steps following that? Like, what happens next?
That's $1 million question. After crazy thing is, I'm still trying to work in like in the human services field, doing something there. Like, but a week after I graduated, or a little while after that, Career Link reached out to me. Yeah, they emailed me somebody from Career Link, and they told me about this street cleaning job. So I got a little new experience. I've been doing that since October. Like, it's school at Philadelphia Clip, so it's like we're in
Hmm.
the Kensington and Fair Hill area.
Hmm.
But it kind of all intertwines a little bit. Even though I'm street cleaning and doing different things like cleaning underpaths and alleyways, it's like being in that area, Kensington. Kensington. It's like
Hmm.
kind of trauma based too. It's like seeing this is
Hmm.
like wow. It's like, but it like we was kind of saying earlier. It's like the norm now. I've been out there
Hmm.
like it's like the norm. But when you walk out there, like people will still remind me sometimes like, yo, man, it's not normal. Like you seeing people leaned over. It's like, oh man, this is like really like kind of people that's out there is like dealing with trauma as
Hmm.
well. So yeah, that's what's crazy too. That's kind of what like off the top of my head recently. It's kind of like connected like either way because I'm doing something totally different from what I graduated from in the
Hmm.
program, but you still see elements of what we talked about
Hmm.
in the work I do. So it's like you kind of never can escape it from wherever department of work you live in. I mean, doing work you're doing, not living. So yeah.
Nah, and you're right. It comes up, and that's sort of probably why they reached out to us, and made sure that we were, because we were already dealing with those different things in our day-to-day lives, in our
Mhm.
day-to-day like situation. So even like you said, going down to somewhere like Kensington is its own
Yeah,
thing in itself. Like
yeah.
that's zombie land for
That's
real.
how, yeah, seriously, like Walking Dead for real. Man, it
Hmm.
ain't no joke, man. Like you
So
said.
going in there, you get to be able to utilize those skills and those tools, and be able to know what to do in those right situations. Shoot, I think, and I believe you in it because we all had to do it. Is it Narcan training
Yeah,
to
yeah,
help?
yeah.
Yeah, to help like someone that needs that Narcan shot. Like
Mm, yeah,
you may not be required to do it for your job,
yeah.
but you know how to if you need
Do
to.
it. Right, right, exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's very necessary. And I'm gonna be honest that I don't remember how to do all of that stuff that we
Yeah,
learned, but
hey, we right here with it, bro. I don't need it. Gotta look in the binders again.
but it was a good like skill set to have, um moving forward in life, because it's just good to have those skill
Have skills
sets
always. This is always is.
dealing
Always.
with the people. So what's next, for you after going through the program, whatever the case may be?
You know what? I just applied to a program that's similar, because they might even open up more doors. It's with Congresso, like to deal work in human services. So,
Hmm.
I think a part of it, the reason why they got back to me too, because I did this program. So,
Um,
yeah, I think it's gonna be similar, like, but it's gonna be like from like 9 to 5, maybe kind of longer than what we did.
hmm.
But yeah, so because am trying to work in the human services field or wherever field I choose to go to. So, because I'm still trying to figure things out,
Hmm.
as a lot of people are, but just trying to figure things out where I want to go, like with my like professional work life. So yeah, this was kind of next for me. I'm kind of happy they reached out to me. I think that they actually interviews tomorrow. So yeah, so yeah, the
Well,
interviews
I'm
tomorrow.
definitely
So
not gonna
yeah,
keep you long, so you can
yeah.
make sure
Oh
you.
no, man, I should be all right, man. From what I learned from you, from everybody here, I'm gonna be all right because the stuff we
um,
learned out, yeah, it
what
was
was I
crazy.
gonna ask? Oh, so the work that you were doing, I know you worked a lot with youth,
Yeah, yeah.
early on too.
Mm.
So now that you look at it, you can look at it from a new lens, especially from the program and like dealing with, like you said, human services. What do you think about the youth and mental health and what they go through?
Yeah, that's the kind of the work you do, the work everybody else in the program work I do. That's what it's kind of for, because like they're the next generation. So that's why we had to kind of get right. That's why we are getting it right, for
Mm-hmm.
them to learn and all the trauma they face. Because you know how it is growing up in Philly, like parents and different situations and scenarios. That's what I think is so important. So because like when you see a child acting out, it's like, oh man, this is so annoying. But you don't like you gotta realize what the background, what's going on at home, why they're doing that, and why is it like this. And it could be something totally trauma that they're going through. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this
Mm-hmm.
work. That's why you're doing this work, and you do a fantastic job. I know you've been doing this type of stuff for years, so that's why you doing it. That's what you do. That's what
Nah,
Tony
man.
Casey.
I'm a baby in it. Honestly,
Okay.
I literally
I'm gonna
am a
big you up though.
baby.
I'm still big you up though. I ain't gonna. I'll try to speak with my big up, bro.
I'm a baby in it, and the program taught me that there's so much more to learn. And being honest with you, bro, I feel like I want to go back to school and finish my degree
mm,
because it's so much to learn, and there's
right.
so much things out there. What I've learned is, and that's why I'm so happy that they developed the program, is the fact that there's not a lot of black men speaking for black men. Is like is what you just said about like the youth. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of all of our superheroes is either athletes, entertainers, drug dealers,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case may be, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. But
Mm-hmm.
again, as we talked about earlier, um, there's a lot of street kids that's not street kids, and they need to be on the sidewalk or in the house, but because they have to survive in the neighborhoods that they come from, that they got to go in the streets to survive. And so when you got people like us that come back, that go talk to the guys that's not too much street kids, and they not too far going in the streets, then we're able to create more black men to feel comfortable not having to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
And now again, I never come in nobody that street, because I'm never going to tell you not what not to do to feed your family. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like, you got to do what you got to do to feed your family. Now, do I agree with it? I can't say 9 times out of 10 I do,
Mm-hmm. Same
but
here.
if you got like felonies, if you got like if all of these things are stopping you and preventing you from doing the things that they don't even rent to felons. And so
Mm-hmm.
now you telling me I don't got nowhere to live, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you got a
Mm-hmm.
felony record, they don't want to hire you for a job. So now you
Yeah.
telling me I can't make money. So you won't provide somewhere for me to live. You won't provide somewhere for me, or you won't allow me to provide for myself to eat. What am I supposed to do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no felony requirements right here for me to
Mm-hmm.
sell these drugs, or for me to rob or steal. You know what I mean? Again, I don't agree with all the texts, but I understand it. And so when you got somebody like that go through the program, now that provides a different outlet for a youth. Like, all right, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Maybe I can go into human services and help my brothers. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's why I try to make sure to highlight someone like yourself, because it automatically um provides a different example.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought in my head, just piggyback off your point. It's so important for the youth, especially here in Philly, because you know why? Because like say, like you can't even like actually like be like it's so important for the youth to understand that you don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to be like just because you're from Philly, you don't have to be like that, or it's somebody anywhere from in Detroit, New York, or wherever. Like because you come from a certain place of hood, you don't have to be that way. Like it's okay to be different. It's okay to work in human services. It's okay because especially in Philly, like people will clown you if you want to do something different. It was like because I don't want to be a SoundCloud rapper or trap on the corner or do this and that. I might want to because my brother, speaking of my brother, he got clowned for years. Growing and one in from dancing just for dancing, wanted to be a dancer, want to do that. So it's like it's okay to do something else. It's like you don't have to be just want to be like a SoundCloud rapper or something like that. I mean, I'm not saying don't follow you chase your dreams, but you could work. You could be a Reggie. You could be working a community health worker, or you could be a janitor. You could work at this department. You be a lawyer. You could shoot do sanitation. That's cool. You could be a teacher like that. All that areas stuff is good. Like we kind of came up. In Philly, like we kids, we like to bid and so it's fun and cool. But it's like, man, like I'm actually I want to do this. Like I'm gonna get made fun of and not supported because I want to do something different. So that's what's really key to the youth. To answer your question, that's what's really key because that happens all the time. I see it all the time in Philly. Like wow, we missing a great engineer. We're missing that somebody great gifted at that because out they feel like they're not gonna get supported or they're gonna get clowned. It's like, no, man, you do that. It's okay to do that. You don't have to be that way. You could just be you. You could really be yourself because you come from Philly or come from the hood. You don't have to be that way. So,
You said something important, and I didn't even think about it. Well, I've thought about it, but
mm-hmm,
it's nothing. We don't realize like over time how that plays with us about how
mm-hmm.
like bitten and bussing and making jokes
Yeah,
and all
Trump.
of those
Mm-hmm.
things. They couldn't cause trauma because they make you
Yeah.
not do certain things
Mm,
because you're afraid or you've been bullied into a position where now you got no choice but to do it this way. And I had
mm,
never thought about it. I guess because we're getting older too. Like, because
mm-hmm.
betting used to be the thing, like, or
Yeah,
betting is
yeah.
a thing. Like,
That
people
is the
still
thing.
be
Yeah.
doing it. Like,
Yeah.
but it is somebody said it, and I've been it stuck with me. It said, "It's jokes only jokes if we never get serious."
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mm,
And so it's
mm.
like, all right, it's cool to be funny, but then what if that's a serious issue? Like, what if somebody seriously dealing with weight problems, or a guy? I'm speaking to young men right now. What if it's a guy that's seriously dealing with weight problems, or his mom? You know, your mama jokes was the thing really back
Yeah,
in the day.
yeah,
But what if his mom
yeah.
really is going through something, or what
mm,
if I don't know all the things that we just me. I use it. Dark skin was like a thing, like
yeah, yeah,
darkness and black ass,
yeah.
all of those different things.
Mm,
And then you go and you don't realize that somebody start bleaching their skin because now that they've been like tortured their whole life about how
mm.
dark they've been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. That's actually one of those conversations. That's actually what I said. Like conversation I had with my brother too. It's like, yeah, man, like stuff like that. It's like we don't know that actually does play like a position that somebody had that can actually form like trauma. It's like wow, like yeah, you know that you laugh on it, it's like haha, but then it's like when you go home by yourself, like damn, like wow. But I mean, yeah, that's just crazy too. We just never know, like you never know, like that can bring. So that's actually a
Mhm.
good point you made. Jokes on jokes. I'm damn. You gotta text that to me.
Nah, I
I'm
got
remember
you.
that now. It's like yeah, it's jokes ain't jokes till it's serious. It's like yeah,
Like that's
wow,
a fact because it's like
yeah.
you gotta. It's a point where you gotta decide if someone laughing with you or at you,
At you,
but you never know until you I don't know. I think it's just something you got to learn over time. Like,
yeah,
yo, are they making fun of me, or are we making fun of something together?
yeah.
And then
Mm,
really starting to pull that out there. But I wanted to ask you because you brought it up too, and I don't want to make sure I missed it. You talked about
oh
your
yeah.
brother being a dancer.
Mm.
Um, how as his brother, how has that been being his almost emotional support as he was going through like people making fun of him or betting on the fact that he was doing it?
Yeah, cause yeah, you know what? I never like at first, even though at first like um I was just like, growing up, I saw like an artistic lens now. Like I used to be like, because I was in sports and like, but like it took me a while. I was like, no, man, he's gifted in this. Like, what's the problem? Like I was always like, I was always really supportive because like that was my brother and that's what he wanted to do. Like, because he does all types of dance. Because at first, like he just started out doing like hip hop dance. He didn't want to do ballet, but all like we was talking about different skills to take different places. I'm like, well look what he did now. That him dancing that took him to London, all over the world, all over the
Wow.
country. So it's just like crazy. And it's like people that used to clown him for being like dancing and being in the arts field. Now they SoundCloud rappers. So it's like now they was like people that he talked to all the time, tell me all the time, like people was making fun of him. Now they was like, yo, man, support my music, support my arts. Like, but you was clowning him from doing that. But being emotional support for him, it was okay. It was always good to be there for him. But he kind of overgrew stuff, himself, and I'm glad that he moved past that himself. He's like, man, I ain't. He at the point now, like, man, I ain't worried about this. I got a vision for myself, and I'm gonna do it. So, being that emotional support that's important for anybody that what field they want to work in, because he had closest people closest to him that didn't like really support him or didn't like what he's going to do. But now, it seemed like his growth and what he was able to accomplish and what he's going to and what he's still going to accomplish. So, yeah, that's kind of big. So,
You brought up a key point too because you think about how many other things that people could do that can still accomplish. Like for example, and I was just talking about this with somebody, I can't remember, conversations running into each
Yeah,
other, but
right. Yeah, it's
um
all interconnected.
yeah, but we were talking about like playing in the NFL or playing in the league. And it's like that's a lot of my that was a lot of my time, a lot of my dream, like early on in my life was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to the league, I'm going to the
Mm-hmm.
NFL, like I'm gonna be the cornerback,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody gonna stop me, and da da
Yeah.
da. And then you realize you start to get older, because the things that being in the NFL was bring, like I'll be able to travel to different cities, different states,
Mm-hmm.
different countries. I'll be able to provide for the family. I'll be able
Right.
to like have enough income to get my dream house, the dream girl, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere along the lines, you start to realize that you're not going to the league.
Yeah.
You start to realize
Yeah.
that that's not happening,
Yeah.
but you can still have all of the same things that was connected to that dream or connected to that goal without still going that path. And what we was talking
Mm-hmm.
about with kids going up in the streets, or even your brother going off and doing dancing, it's bringing him everywhere, you know what I mean? And he's still able to get the things he want in life without, but that's something as simple as someone making fun of him, or something simple as like people bullying him about his career choice, could have stopped him from even getting everything that he wanted to get. You know what I mean? Because like, all right, well,
Right.
I'm not going to be accepted in the neighborhood, so let me not do this and pretend again. Let me go this street route because now
Mm-hmm.
everybody say that's cool,
Yeah.
and let me pretend to go this route, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
even supposed to be out here in the field like this.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly, exactly. Good point. Good point too. And he had other people that support him as well. But yeah, it's a good point. Like somebody used to tell me growing up, I think my mom was like, no, you could even work in the sports field. Like you can be an owner, a GM or something like that. He's like, yeah, it's like okay, I'm probably not gonna be the boy, but you could be behind the scenes or any field like sports. You could be like analyst or whatever. Like statistician, keep up with the stats. There's different things like that, like you said. So it's like, but like you said, was real key is like if I would have listened to them, like I wouldn't accomplish anything I did. Like if I had listened to them, had you listened to people that doubted you, Reggie,
Hmm.
you wouldn't have like accomplished anything what you would have did. So it's like you might as well go ahead and do it because they probably gonna be in the same position, just talking. So I mean, but it is what it is. That's how that's how life is. So, but that's why it's important for the youth to understand. It's like, man, you don't have to be that way. It's okay to be something else. I'd say this all the time. It's okay to be Trey from Boys in the Hood. Remember that he's about to ride out, get payback for killing Ricky. Like, yo, let me out. It's okay to be that way. It's cool. Everybody not gonna be tough. Everybody not gonna be. Most of the tough guys they end up dead in jail, and most of the guys that you call soft and squares, like they end up having nice lives, living long time. So it's like that's okay. That's why it's important for the youth to understand, especially with all this like stuff now with the with the like music now and the like the drill stuff and the like I see that people like that music like kind of like I know it's in Chicago, but it's all over like people laughing at death, all the 6ix9ine stuff, all the like stuff we talked about. I remember we had a conversation like that. It's like WWE characters. I remember that they had me laughing, but yeah, it's like and kids want to be that now. Like oh, the flexing culture. Yeah, I did this and like one yeah I stole from this. Now I'm recording myself just to let everybody know. Then one you told on yourself that then like that flexing culture, that want to be tough culture, that want to be cool culture, it's like not. It's important for the youth to understand it's okay to do what you want to do. It's okay to do something else. So,
I'm gonna ask you this question, and if you uh I won't say if you don't feel like answer, don't feel like answer,
uh-huh.
but if you don't
No.
have no deep dive in it, what's your thoughts? I always think about like when we talk, you mentioned 6ix9ine snitching within
Mm-hmm.
brothers and communities.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know how I'm gonna word it, but
Mm-hmm.
like I just always go to the mindset of like snitching and even in my mindset is like I'm not a street guy, but I still have like
Mm-hmm.
morals and some
Yeah.
type of thing. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what like
Yeah.
I always want to hear what black men and young black men think
Yeah.
about snitching. So what are
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts around snitching?
Okay.
Let's say
Yeah,
that.
because I'm not a street guy as well, but you know what it is. I was talking about this the other day too. You know, it's like man, if you're gonna do it, you gotta pay the price. You gotta pay the price. But you know what? With that being said, though, it's like, let me try to think about
It's
one
cool because
second.
I was
Yeah,
thinking about the question
yeah,
because
like, cause it's
again
like,
I don't feel. like I'm not a street person, but I
Yeah.
still don't feel comfortable and confident. It's like me and you go do something. We two
Mm,
non-street guys, and we
mm-hmm.
go do something. I don't feel like I'm about to snitch on because like I wasn't a street guy. Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
morally like
More, yeah,
wrong.
right,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah, exactly. If you
So
did it, own up to it. It's like, all right, you did it, or like own up to it. It's like, because it's like it's a difference really between like, but in most places, you're not allowed to be actual citizen. It's like, man, I don't have nothing to do with that. Like, what you mean? Don't tell nobody like this and that. But it's like, so it's a difference. But if you actually doing the crime, if you doing something, and you like, oh no, now I'm a citizen. No, you can't do that. That's foul. But my thing is too, it's like, all right, well, the people that doing it and don't do it, it's like, okay, that's cool. You didn't, you owned up to what you did, but let's not overly glorify them because they were still messing up in the community. It's like, all right,
hmm
don't. It's not like such a much like a higher moral standard that because you still like soldier, you still did that crime. So, but it's like kind of a thing like that's why it's just important to not get involved in it. If you're not
that's
built for
it.
it, then it's not built for it. It's really that simple. But
That's
once
it.
you decide to do that, no, yeah, you gotta do that. You can't run and say, oh no, I like New Jack City, and no, it's bigger than Nino Brown. You can't do that. No, man, you decide to get into it, you gotta get into it. You gotta pay the price for that. But I ain't gonna over glorify you if you don't tell, because it's like, all right, well, this person didn't tell, he owned up to it, but you still did this stuff. So it's kind of a yeah. That's why you really gotta think about what you gotta say with the topic. That's why I see like you pause and like
Yeah,
this is like
because
yeah,
it's a sensitive subject.
yeah,
Because it's just morally, I don't think you should tell on your
yeah,
friends. Just
yeah,
morally, regardless of street or not, morally you
yeah,
shouldn't. Like
exactly. Uh-huh.
it's somebody you mess with. It's somebody you was close to.
Mm-hmm.
But then, what do you say to a 16-year-old, 18-year-old that get life and they don't even get to live
Yeah.
life, but they
Mm-hmm.
were out there doing? It's just
Yeah.
like it's such a
Yeah.
touchy subject
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
it's like, do they even know what they're doing at that point? But then
Yeah.
it's like, yo, they did know what they're doing because they
Yeah.
got themselves involved in it. So I
Yeah.
never claimed to even. And I
Yeah.
guess this is an answer for the OGs. The answer that's not in the streets or that
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Right. But I will say this though. But I mean, at the same time though, but if you do get into that street life and do it and you get snitched on though, but it does come with it though. So you can't be surprised. So I can't and that too. Like you can't be surprised if somebody tells you because that's what comes with it too. So it's like that's why it's important for the disclaimer for y'all not to do it. So
hmm
yeah, I even get involved in it. But I feel you too. It's like not like really because if me and you do something, then I'll like and if I'm like back and now I told on you, it's like back down, like, come on, man. Like, it's like, first off, when you do that stuff, they put everybody else in danger. Like, you putting
hmm
people, other than people in danger. So that's why it's important, like, for you to, not if you're going to do it, then own up to it and take the time, dude.
hmm
Take the time. But once you do it, once you get involved in that, if you do get snitched on, do get told told on, it's like that's kind of what comes with it too. So it's so much nuance to this thing. So
It
that's why I
is.
understand. Like it's like thing. It's such a you think it would be a simple thing, but it's
It's
like
not.
nah, man. It's like you can have a whole podcast episode on it. I
Yeah,
probably
no,
won't
that
invite
and
me because I know
I
expert, but
am because I
yeah.
do
Oh
want
yeah.
we don't talk so much, especially again, I always say streets have their own code that they live by. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
clear and cut for streets. Like yo, you don't you do the you what they say, you do the crime, you do the
Gonna
time.
do
That's like an
time. Yeah.
eight old
Yeah. You know.
that been out forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always want to talk to the dudes that's just not in the streets,
Street.
and
Yeah.
it is because you never liked it to snitch when your brothers and sisters snitched on you about
Yeah,
eating a piece of
exactly.
cookie.
True,
You know
true,
what I
true,
mean?
true. Exactly. That's a tattletale. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
now you're gonna tell extra stuff like, or the nosy neighbor that's just looking like, all right, what
yeah.
we do? It's like, yo, like,
Mind
mind
your
your business.
business.
Like, you always in the neighbor that always in the blinds, know what type of lemonade we was drinking. It's like, how you
Right.
didn't know? Like, get out of here, like. So yeah, definitely. So I feel you. That's like morally just telling people, it's like, all right, telling your closest friends, your closest people, it's like, all right, come on now, why would you do that to dime me out like that? But
hmm
it's like you said, it's really a nuanced conversation though. It really is on what you sit and think about.
and it's one that needs to be had, especially among young men within the
Yeah,
community,
yeah,
because I feel like whether you're a woman that tells or not, they'll still go back to you're a woman. So
Yeah,
you get a
yeah, yeah,
grace when it comes
yeah.
to
That
certain
right. It's
things.
different from yeah,
When it's men, it's like, you're a man. Why you ain't take
yeah,
that L, or why you ain't
yeah,
do that? And I
mm,
think about again, it's a mental health platform. So I always think about
yeah.
the mindset and the mind of
Yeah.
like what they gotta go through. Like, man, in their mind, they gotta think about, damn, if I do this, then my whole family's in danger. If I don't do
Mm,
this, then I'm gonna be in jail forever.
mm,
And I'm gonna lose my life and all that. Then it becomes more selfish. So it's very nuanced, like you said,
yeah,
and it will be a conversation that
yeah. Definitely.
I want to
I'll try to
have
check in. Yeah,
with a
man.
group of men at one time, just to
Yeah.
like discuss it, because it's not being
Mm,
discussed often about it.
mm.
It was one question that I would like to ask before we wrap up, or maybe one or two. The first one is, what do you talk when you, again, you deal heavy with the youth, or have done heavy with the youth, when you talk to them about trauma, like, what do you, all right, matter of fact, not even talk to them, what do you think the youth needs when it's come to dealing with trauma moving forward?
Oh, for myself,
Hmm.
just just realize that uh, it happened kind of for a reason. So you kind of have to understand that, but it's still important to understand how to learn how to deal with coping mechanisms for it. So that's why doing this program is so helpful, because like I learned different coping mechanisms, how to deal with my
Hmm.
trauma. Because even sometimes you might not even still when I realize that you had trauma from a certain situation.
Hmm.
So it's like still you got to mind yourself like, well, yeah, you know actually to bring this up, actually, I don't have my license. I'm still in the process of learning how to drive, but
Hmm.
uh, I'm glad you actually brought that question up, because when I was younger, when I was a baby, like when I was baby, I was it 2 or 3, not 2 or 3, when I was a baby, basically, our I was around my mom, my brother, and my yeah, it's my mom, my brother, and me, and I was a baby in the back seat, and the car was about to explode. And my brother said, "Mom, the smoke from the car, it was about to explode." So, and I almost could have got caught in that, but I think one of somebody on the freeway, a biker, that helped me out and got me out of there. So, I think that's kind of what deals with my trauma. Like, I'm not sure if it's connected to my trauma or fear of driving, but I don't know. That's on like loud cars and loud noises and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
it's like different types of little like many. It's different types of trauma, like you said. So it's
Hmm.
like different things. So I gotta learn how to cope with like like dealing with big noises, or like looking out the window because got robbed for. So other people, like the video. When I was first coming into the program, people can look over when they get like shot, looking over their shoulder, covered in stuff. So yeah, or just mental, or just like being evicted. Like I've been evicted a couple times. That trauma. It's like different types of things. So it's like good. It's good that I did this program, because now I still got to you know um coping mechanisms to deal with it, and plus my faith in God. So that helps as well. So yeah, good
Yo,
question though. Good question. And then another
now,
yeah.
and you tied it into another question. How important has religion been for your mental health?
Yeah, my walk with the Most High, it's been really important, because it's like now I was like, no, I really had to trust him, and Christ. I really had to. That's who I really had to like trust in. Still build that faith. Kill off that spirits that I have like with fear, with that, because I still go with the spirit. I got different fears, so just but building that faith in, that's very important, because um, that's what you need. Especially in these times. So definitely. So yeah, that's a good question too. So that having that, knowing that, trusting that higher power, that always going to keep you grounded and keep you good. So yeah,
No, definitely, man. Well, look, man, I appreciate you for coming on.
yeah. Oh man, I appreciate you, man. This
I-
is great, man. This is like regular, yeah, man. This is great. But it was popped in my head, man. I don't know if this will ever be possible, but I don't know if October or just July, something. I don't know. If we try to get all the guys on here, man, that'll be big, man. Talk about experience of how we here a year later now, man. That would be big, man. That would be big, man. That would be
if we
big.
could
That would
track everybody down to
track
get.
everybody. Yeah, it's like kind of hunting people down, because I just text y'all all in group. I'll be like, yo, man, y'all stay up, man. I hope everybody doing well. So
O has been very diligent in keeping the group together. I feel like you the one that holds the glue, especially with like, hey, with everybody chilling, everybody
yeah,
good.
man.
Because I
Yeah.
think once we all went through the program, we went kind of back to our regular
Yeah,
lives.
lives, yeah,
Certain
and
people number
yeah.
changed, certain, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's still important to like keep, because we built like something there. And I feel like they probably will have some type of like
Yeah.
reunion or something
Mm-hmm.
with all the cohorts. So we, because
Mm-hmm.
there's cohorts that came before us. I still talk to a
Mm-hmm.
few people that came through the previous cohort. So I definitely do think that would be a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I told you I was trying to, if I was, I don't want to say if I was smarter, I should have tried to do it when within while we was there, but it was because of so many COVID restrictions that I couldn't
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
too
It's
much.
kind of yeah, man. Definitely, man. I've been good. Yeah, I've been. That'd be dope. But all of us there, seeing all the different experience, we just try to chop it up like we did now. Like we could talk about what we just talked about, like snitching or different topics all together. So yeah, man, that was kind of like how we did in the in the program. But now on Reggie's platform, on your platform,
Yeah.
that'd been dope, man. That'd be crazy. That just popped in my head.
Nah, that's my goal, and I wish I
Yeah,
could have did a Zoom and recorded it all, like how we doing now,
yeah,
and just did
mm,
like a 10-person Zoom,
yeah,
to try to get everybody together. But I don't know. I
mm,
think it'll work out. I still see a few
yeah.
people too. I think I
Mm,
see everybody. No, I don't see everybody. Maybe about 2 or 3 people I haven't talked
mm,
to since.
mm.
Um, uh, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll make it
It'll
happen.
happen.
We'll figure it out. So do you got any final thoughts? I told you it wasn't gonna be bad, man.
Yes, no, man.
It's a
I'm
regular
kind of,
conversation.
yeah, I'm kind of like a little relaxed now. I'm kind of feel good now. Yeah, definitely gonna watch more episodes. I'm gonna check you out now. This is dope platform. This is nice, man. I like how have this. Shoot, man, my man needs some sponsors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we
I'm
might need some.
working on
Yeah, so
it.
this is a dope platform, man. I just want to thank you for having me, man. This is really good, man. I'm really happy to be here, man. I'm really thankful that you let me on your platform, man. Seriously, I really don't do this something that this is not something I do, but since you actually, I was like, all right, I gotta do it. So yeah, man, that's really all I got. I mean, yeah. So hopefully that we can get everybody out. That would be nice. That's just thought in my mind. That would be nice.
Yeah, I was, so I'll tell you what was supposed to happen with you. It'll still happen. What was supposed to
Uh,
happen with me and Tone. I was supposed to get Tone to introduce the program and do it, but
oh.
it just never lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we probably gonna do it for the next cohort. So he'll
Mm-hmm.
be on soon and be able to like talk more in depth about like how they developed the program, why, and
Mm-hmm.
all of those different things. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's gonna be dope eventually when we could get everybody to sit down and do it some type of way. But no, I thank you. I appreciate you for coming on.
Likewise, brother.
Appreciate
Likewise.
you for sharing the story. Appreciate you
Likewise.
for like all um even being supportive during the process of the program. So
Oh yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
we'll work something out and doing something
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
Yeah.
Probably catch a game or something together with the Eagles. I
Yeah,
know you.
yeah, probably so, man. I do got a question for you. Probably so. I'll be big. Do you got like an episode just talking about like your experience with your like your story? Because
No,
with your story, like when you shared it, like that hit me. I was like, damn, I didn't know that about Reg. Damn, yeah, I was
you got
kind of that hit me.
you gotta go all the way back to the first episode
All
zero
right,
zero
there. All
zero.
right. All in the archives. I got you.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
just
go
got quick and
all the
scroll
way
down.
back.
All right, man.
It's
I'll
in the
check it out.
first episode, and I went really in detail, so you could catch it. I don't want to
All
say it
right.
because I got a few phone calls about too much like
Oh,
gun
okay.
stuff,
I
all
always get it.
that.
Yeah, my man. All right, all right.
Yeah,
I'll
but
check it
it's
out.
been some years, so at least been like 10 years. So I'm
Okay.
straight. But
Mm,
my mom was like, "Hey, some stuff just better left in the past. Like don't even
yeah.
talk about."
Yeah.
But it's
All
still
right.
there. And like I
Yeah.
said, I try to be
Uh,
vulnerable. You can't
uh,
be asking everybody for their story and then
yeah.
don't want to share yours. So
Yeah. Yeah.
episode zero
Yeah.
zero for anybody else
Yeah.
that's listening, just like, oh,
Definitely.
like y'all can go back and
Yeah.
catch my story. I know I don't
Right.
talk
Because your
about it.
story's important. That's why, man. That's why I asked. Because it's like our story is important, man.
Mhm.
From what you went through and what you're going through, what you accomplishing now. So, yeah, man. Definitely, man.
That's a fact.
Real big, man.
All
And
right,
I'm really
guys. And
happy for you, bro.
thank
Happy
you,
for you. All your
thank you,
success,
thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
On that note, make sure y'all subscribe, follow, do comment, and do all that good stuff to help with the podcast. And remember that this platform has never been about a replacement to therapy. It's
Mm.
an alternative place where people share therapeutic stories. Thank you for listening.
Likewise, y'all. Have a good one. Be blessed.